Welcome, everyone. Again, Shabbat Shalom to all of you today who have come live on stream on YouTube, and also those of you who are with me on Zoom. I'd like to say Shabbat Shalom to you, and may the Most High Yah continue to give us the guidance and the instruction that we need in order to better us as a people and collectively and as individuals. We give Yahweh all the praise for all that He has done for us. Today's lesson is not going to be, I don't believe, that long. I'm trying to condense the information that I have and try to put it in a very practical way that we'll be able to understand it. So, without anything else being said, let's go ahead and get started. Share my screen with you all. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. This week's Torah portion is a really nice one. I think the book of Deuteronomy, or what they call Davarim, is one of the most inspiring books and part of the scrolls that I've read and studied. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites. Um, but this one also too, this in particular Torah portion was very eye-opening. And what do I mean by that is that it opens up our eyes to reveal to us about what has happened to us as a people and all the different troubles and trials that we've had. And so Moshe's given his narrative that we've been talking about. And so this week is about what they call a kev. Okay. And a kev basically means because. And of course, there's a lot more to this word because or akev. Okay, and we're going to talk about that. And of course, it's found in the book of Davarim, which is the book of the words. And so, this week he's telling us about all the things that have happened to us because of this, because of that. Um, you know, and so we have to be mindful about what the message was that he was conveying to our ancestors, which we can find some jewels. We can really find some jewels when we look into, um, the lessons that we've been looking at. Okay. I don't want to complicate things. I want to keep things as easy as possible. Okay. I think sometimes when we try to overanalyze the scriptures and we overanalyze what the meanings of words are and we're trying to overanalyze, then we get into some problems. And so when I was studying, I was like, okay, well, what is it that you're really looking for? I'm asking the Most High, what is it that you're really looking for? And then throughout my meditation, I found that the Most High was like, it's about you becoming humble, right? That's what this is literally about. King Dawid said something that I want to share with all of us. It says that Yahweh, my heart isn't proud. Okay. Meaning I'm not going to lift up my heart. I'm not going to boast. I'm not going to lift up my heart. I'm not going to exalt my mind to things that are too high for me, right? I don't need to understand literally everything in order to do what Yah is saying. He says, I don't partake in great affairs or in wonders far beyond me. No, I keep myself calm and quiet, like a little child on his mother's lap. I keep myself like a little child. Yisrael, it says, put your hope in Yahweh from now on and forever. And so I wanted to share that verse, and that's the reason why we're using these photos of little children because I know you've read and you've heard in the New Testament that says that we have to become like a child. And what they were talking about is to be a child in your understanding. And that's not what this is saying. This is not saying that would become like a child from the point of not being able to understand anything. It's literally saying that it's asking for us to grow up, right? And it's talking about when we talk about a child, a little child, it's talking about someone, an individual, a male or a female that has literally have grown to, gain some type of independence. The word right there is called gamal, and gamal means to be independent. It's not like a little child, a baby, an infant that can't learn anything. It's literally talking about someone that is ready to yield and ready to do some work and who has an understanding, right? So when Dawid is talking like this, he's saying that this is what he had to come to. And he was a king and he was, and he could have been proud, but he wasn't. So that kind of resonates with me. And I'm sharing it because I wanted to resonate with you as well. In order for us to fully understand this walk, or would you say this lifestyle, this way that we live, we have to understand that we're going to be used. We're going to be used like from a child. The Most High He's grooming us, He's forming us, He's shaping us, and it's for a reason and it's for a purpose. It's not just because we're a child and this is something that He just wants to do. This is something that has to happen. The word for child again is used in a lot of other contexts when it talks about the fruit of a tree. There's a fruit that comes to some type of maturity when the fruit is ripened and it's ready to be able to pick, right? So just like the fruit on a tree comes to a point of maturity and then you're able to eat it and you're able to pluck it, this is what Dawid is asking in the context of himself. Like, this is the way that I need to be. Okay, I need to ripen up, I need to mature, and I need to come to a place where I'm ready to yield what it is that the Most High is looking for. So, when someone was to go to a tree or a farmer or whatnot, and they would look at it and they were harvesting, they would have to see whether or not it was ready or not. So basically, what this is talking about is that if we're going to be able to perform what Most High is asking from us, then this is something that we have to come to. We have to come to maturity. We have to come to some form of independence. Like a child who has been weaned from its mother's breast is no longer attached to his mom in that sense, like, trying to get its nourishment from its mother's breast, but now is able to digest and to explore and to have a greater sense of independence. And that's what we want. This is what you want for your child. This is what the Most High wants for us. He doesn't want us to remain as children. He's saying that your mindset has to come like this. This is how we have to begin our instructions and be able to take direction from the Most High. In your Torah portion this week, there are three main divisions, okay, that we are going to touch lightly on. Number one is the trap. The Most High was giving Moshe the instructions to warn the children of Israel about the traps. There was a whole bunch of traps that were set for us, and he knew it. And he wanted to share with us to let us know, like, well, these are the traps, okay? One of the traps that the Most High talks about is, somebody tell me, what do you think one of the traps when you were reading this week? What was one of the traps that the Most High said that I need you to warn yourself lest this happens to you? When this happens, this is what you need to be aware of. Somebody give me one of the traps.
He said if a family member comes to you trying to encourage you to go and serve another God.
Yeah, so idolatry is one of the traps. Thank you, Koti. One of the traps is idolatry. Another trap is the idea of you lifting up your heart, meaning your mind to become persuaded by wealth. So, for example, when they had these idols and the idols had silver or gold on them, you would be, tempted to take it and to hold on to it because you had a perceived value about that idol because it was covered with silver and gold. Yes, Kel.
I was gonna say was one of the traps about being weary of women from other
Yes,
religious backgrounds.
yes, that's another trap. So there's all these traps. So this is what we need to understand. Like when we're with the Most High and we're in this relationship with Him being our Elohim doesn't mean that there's not going to be any traps. This is the reality. The reality is that you can be trapped by, arrogance of oneself, like you think highly of yourself where you don't need the Most High. There's the trap of what they call affluence, meaning, the wealth that you receive from the Most High, which is your silver, your gold, your houses, It says you're actually big houses that you lived in, and your whole family structure, everything, your reputation, your name, all these sorts of things. Everything that the Most High will give you can literally end up becoming a trap for you. It's a trap for your soul. That's what's at stake. Okay. Um, there's also to the idea of the task, right? So the task for us is that he wanted us to understand and not to forget what our responsibilities and our duties were going to be when you go into the land. Okay. And then of course the tests happen in, go ahead. The tests happened in the wilderness. That's why they were brought there. They were brought there to be tested. They were brought there to learn. Okay. So we're going to find out like what is it that's around us that we still have traps and we still have a test and we have a task. Okay. Are the traps going to be very similar? Yes, they are. Is the task very similar? Yes, it is. So it's a little bit different. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. The test, the test is always going to be the same. The test hasn't changed. The test is always going to be the same. Okay. The test is to see whether or not you and I have decided to do what we've been told. That's the test. The location has changed. So we're not in the wilderness that we've been brought out of the land of Egypt or Mitzrayim. He's brought us into the nations to test us. It's not just for the sake of punishment. You see, so it's not one dimensional. It's moving in different ways. It has different facets to it. You have to really pay attention to why you're in the location that you're in. Why did you wake up at the time that you woke up? What is it that he wants from you? What is he asking? What are you supposed to do? And what the test is and whether or not you're going to pass the test. Last week we mentioned that, hey, and it might have been offensive, that we don't know. You can't grade your own test. You cannot say that I meet the requirements. You can't see, you're not allowing Yah to be the judge of that. Our responsibility is to understand that we're in a test and we're supposed to do the best we possibly can. And the only way we can do the best we possibly can is if we get the right information. We need good information. Okay. There's 4 areas that I want to cover today. I know there were several chapters number 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. There's 11 chapters. Excuse me, there's several chapters, but there's 4 areas that I wanted to go over with you. Okay. And I want you to take some notes. So the first one that we want to talk about is on your left-hand side, and it talks about the strength. This is a big theme found in our Torah portion about Akev because, right? And he talks about the strength, talks about the strength of the Most High, and it also talks about what our strength is, right? So what we want to do is we want to understand the difference between our strength and his strength, okay? And the only way that we can do that is by revealing what our strength is. Because whatever our strength is not his strength, okay? That's how we answer that question, okay? So the word for my strength is called koki, okay? Koki, right here. Koki, koki, okay? So koki. So koki is my strength, okay? The next area we're going to deal with is righteousness, because this was something that was mentioned in chapter number 9. Chapter 8 was about koki. Chapter 9 is dealing with righteousness. And there was an idea that was found there where someone has said that, it's for my own righteousness, which is my zidki. Okay. Zidki, right here. Zidki. Okay. And then, of course, there's this idea of servitude, which is avdi. We're going to talk about this found in our Haftarah, my servant. Okay. So if you notice, everything is about my, right? And it's recognized by this last little letter right here. In English, it's an I, but in Hebrew, it's a yod. Okay. And the yod means a hand, and it means something that possessive that belongs to me. Okay. Something that I'm going to do. Okay. Moving my hand to do what I need to do. Okay. So my righteousness, my zidki, my koki, my strength, and of course the Most High says that Abdi, my servant. We're going to talk about how the Most High sees servitude. Okay. And how all this connects. And then, of course, it's always about what the master's plan is. Okay. And if Yah is our master, which he is, then he is called Adoni. So you see that E right there again. That I just represents the two E sounds. E, Adoni, my master. Okay. So we're going to deal with my strength, my righteousness, my servant, and my master. Very simple, right? And we have to look at this as someone who's willing to listen and to yield and bring forth fruit for the Most High. Davarim chapter number 8, this particular verse stuck out to me more than anything. It says, you think. That's coming to your mind and your heart. My own power and the strength of my own hand have gotten me this wealth. So I asked myself, then what is it about the power? The power is Koki. It's my own Koki. So what is Koki? What does that power really look like? Is it electrical power? Is it, you know, hydraulic power? Is it strength, the power of a muscle? Is the power of a car? What is it? Is it nuclear power? What is it? For agriculturally, what it's talking about is the palm of the hand, which is firm, right? The palm of the hand, which can grab and take hold of something, right? But it's also firm in the idea of chastising. What this is saying is, Most High said, don't lift up your heart, don't exalt yourself to where you're thinking that everything that you have is because you've accomplished it by your own discipline. That you don't need Yah, you've never needed him to get where you are or to obtain what you have obtained, right? In your life. This is not just in the land. This is something that's always resonating within the minds of the children of Israel. And this has been one of the problems. This is to show you that we're no longer being dependent upon Yahweh like a little child, right? For the guidance and the instruction. We've gotten beyond ourselves. And that happens with the way that we think. That's what this is about. It's about thinking. It's about you're no longer thinking that I'm going to be dependent on Yah. I'm not dependent on him. I'm good now. Now that I've been delivered, been brought out of Egypt, and these so-called miracles happen for me, I'm free to do whatever I want to do. And it's based upon what I'm doing. It's based upon how I'm directing my life, how I'm correcting myself. And it's not true. The Most High has brought us out to the wilderness to correct us as a people, to chasten us, to find out whether or not we're going to do what he says. And even though they had that experience, they're still thinking a certain way. Even after they got into the land, this is their thoughts. And this is what caused the failure of us as a people. It's because this has happened to us, the way that you think. How does that translate to where we are today? I would say while we're in our exile, we're still thinking like this. We're still thinking that everything that I have has been based upon my own powers, based on my own achievements. It's based on how smart I am. And I'm guilty of this. You know, I always tell people before that I was a top 10 student out of the whole entire Bay Area in California. Out of like 400,000 children, I was picked to be in the top 10. And I was smart as a whip. And I based my whole life upon that. Is that I'm super smart, I'm intelligent, I speak well, I have all these great talents and all these great things about myself. Failing to realize that it's been because of Yah. There's nothing more disgusting than a child that grows up to think that they've accomplished what they've accomplished because of themselves, as if they didn't need their parents. as if they did it by themselves, if they corrected themselves, as they fed themselves, as they guided themselves, as they made these decisions without any type of influence. See? So this right here is a problem. And the problem happens within the mind and what we think. Yahweh has done what he has done to everyone. So you and I can understand that a human being, and not just a person, Ha'adam, the actual humanity does not live on food alone, but on everything that comes out of the feet of Yahweh, which is the mouth, the feet, whatever comes forth out of Yahweh's mouth. What that means is that every single detail of our lives has been orchestrated by Yah. If one is rich, if one is poor, it's because of Yah. If one is hungry, if one is full, it's because of Yah. If one is successful and the other one is not, it's because of Yah. If one is ignorant and one is educated, it's because of Yah. If one has a family and one doesn't, it's because of Yah. Everything that we receive has to come from Yahweh because Yahweh is the Elohim of all Elohims. He is the power. Someone has a question?
I have a question.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of hearing what you're saying, and I'm thinking about other things that I've heard too, like when people say like you should be responsible for everything that you have. Like if you are the way that you are, if you're rich and abundant in life right now, it's because of those decisions that you made, and if you're not, it's also because of those decisions that you made. So you're like owning up to, your actions in life. I'm trying to figure out how does that tie into what you're saying.
Can I say something about that, Akiko?
Oh, absolutely, Mashal.
Just look at it this way. Your ideas are not even yours. Your ambitions are not yours. All this is given to you and implanted to you and in your heart and in your mind by Yah.
Hmm. Wow. Heavy.
Okay, yeah, that I agree. I agree with that. Would you agree with his statement, Akiko, or would you say something different?
No, 100%. I'm blown away by it because that's what I was just thinking. Like, okay, so if you think about if we're talking about the structure of our lives, right, and we're talking about the things that we have accomplished and the way that our mind is, right? Who gives us this? I mean, the most Dawid has said that the Most High have wrote out every one of his days. It's already written in the book before any of them ever played out. That's what the Most High wanted for him. So wherever we end up at, like for example, the children of Israel ended up in Egypt. Why? Yah sent them there. Why do people hate them? Because the Most High caused them to hate his people. It's to bring about his purpose. Elder Bill, Azania.
Go ahead,
Hey, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm really following because one of the things that I noticed that uh came first for me is when I removed the word I.
Oh, wow.
Because every time I looked, they were, the people that surrounded me, they didn't mean no harm, but they kept giving me credit that I knew wasn't me.
Wow.
I knew the changes. I knew, the spirit of Yah was missing from every word that came out their mouth.
Wow.
And if I stood there and allowed that, then I was just being deceived. I was the deceived as they are.
And you're still in glory from the Most High.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I love what you just said because what happened when I'm thinking about, like, for example, you guys, when I'm teaching these classes, right? Let me just show it to you. This is not being spooky either. It's just the truth. When I decided that I wanted to teach, right, is this in particular lesson, I chose a theme out of the Google Slides, and then I start putting the pieces together. That's what I do, right? Do you know that I did not pick? I didn't pick the theme based on the pictures I had, or I picked the pictures based on the theme. I just picked them, right? And then as I finished, I looked at the whole entire presentation. I was like, all of the colors, like in this picture right here with this little girl, I had this picture from over 5 years. This picture has been in my catalog for 5 years. I've never used it. So when I picked the theme and then the colors and everything came together, the theme, the color of the theme of the Google Slides matched this picture. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Elder.
He was done. I have to take my hand down. Sorry about that.
So I can't take credit for what you're learning. I can't take credit for the Hebrew alphabet and what I know. I can't take credit. It's been given to me, and Kel, you're not wrong when you says that we have to be good stewards and managers over what has been given to us, but understanding where it came from. That's where it's at. Because how else is Yah going to receive glory? You think he's just receiving glory religiously from us when we sing a song and pray that way and we cry out to him and confess our sins? Or is Yah actively part of every fiber of our being? As Elder Bill said, when you say you take the I out of it, we're giving glory to Yah. The moment that I start taking credit for what I know, then Yah's not pleased with me. Because I'm only here to bring him praise. I'm only here to do what he told me to do. I'm only achieving what I'm achieving because he thought about me. So if he thought enough about me to make me disabled, which I initially had a problem with, I didn't understand that my disability was going to bring about so much for me. It was going to humble me and cause me to be the individual I was supposed to be. So different things happen in our life in order to bring us where we are. There has to be something has to happen. And some of those things that happen to us are not always going to be what you and I wanted. It's going to be some things that we didn't even think about. Yes, Sister Sharon.
So when I was looking at the fact that when the Israelites were in the wilderness, Yah made it so that they could only get food from the sky and they could only get water from a rock. So they couldn't use their own power to feed themselves or give themselves something to drink. And I think he was trying to teach them how to rely totally on him so that when you get to this place where you've got big houses and you're able to get
Yeah.
food, that you'll remember the
Wow.
God who could give you food from the sky, you know what I mean? And water
Wow.
from the rock.
Means
And we
don't
forget.
did we forget? That's what this is about. Like we're quick to forget. And guess what, you guys? I'm very excited and I'm happy about the dialogue that we're having because it has to make sense. So, Sister Sharon, tell us how would that apply to us today?
Well, for me, it's like I just lost my job and I think I had started to rely on that as my source, forgetting the God that gives you water from a rock, and food from the sky. Like he didn't need that. He
Mhm.
doesn't need that to take care of us. He doesn't need the fancy house. He doesn't need all of the things that were in the land. He knows how to take care of us, and our feet won't show, calluses,
Right.
and we won't age. And he knows how to take care of us better than we do. I guess that's what it's given me.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Right. So, going to what she just said, right? Look how that tapped in. It's talking about creation, humanity, right? But also too, out of humanity, everyone, because Yah creates humanity, right? He's saying in the Hebrew it says that Ha Adam, so he's talking about humanity, which goes back to creation. He's saying it doesn't when Yah created us as humanity, the the food wasn't just what we supposed to be looking for and what we supposed to rely upon. Our dependency of survival is not upon only that which is in your refrigerator, your cupboards. It's not. And that's something that you and I have not been told. Okay. See? So, and then I have here the chosen seed, because out of humanity, there's a group of people that Yah chose to have this experience with. Okay. So, how is this beneficial? Right? How is this beneficial? How is this seed chosen? It was chosen by Yah by his power. In your Haftarah, it talks about remembering Abraham and Sarah from the rock and the quarry in which the rock that you were from and the quarry from which you came. So you're talking about the impossibility, right? Remember, the man who was not able to have a child was now able to have the nations. The woman who was barren was now able to have children. She was to be able to bear princes and kings and queens and princesses, where a royal family is going to come out of someone where there was absolutely no possibility. So that which was impossible, right, comes to impossibility, now becomes possible. You see? And that has happened for our fathers and for our mothers. Okay? The idea that you were a slave in Mizraim and you were locked into slavery and idolatry, right? Which means it's totally impossible for you to get released. No one was going to take us out and to deliver us from there. The only one who was able to do that was Yah. The only one who's able to do for Abraham and Sarah was Yah. Okay? Speaking to what Akoti Sharon had just mentioned about the wilderness experience. It says that the Yahweh, it didn't say he just made us hungry. It said he starved us. Again, Kel, going back to the idea of what is necessary to bring about what the Most High wants for our lives. Yahweh will starve you. He will put a hole in our stomachs in order to teach us something that we need to learn. Yes, Michelle.
So, back to what, to piggyback on what you were saying to Kel, right? Yes, we are taught to be good stewards, right? And, that the idea of everything that you've accomplished it through discipline, but you wouldn't have that discipline if you didn't have that that thought or that idea or that feeling given to you by the Most High, because he can he can cause people to hate you, just like he caused the nations to hate Israel. You know, that all this is circles back to everything is from the source, the Most High.
Hallelujah. Elder Bill.
It's me, Azania, and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this, and it's so beautiful because when you really understand what Akoti Sharon was saying, which just getting the lesson that you're trying to teach here, it's like when we start realizing, how truly created we are, and that he has imbued every new nuance, every facet of who we are. It really, really humbles you to Leviticus 19 and 18. It really, really humbles you of how you treat your brother and sister in this walk, and even your family members, and all that Yah has created. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, hallelujah. We needed that. We needed that. There's someone else who has their hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to touch back on my initial question about we're responsible for, what we have in life. I can see it now that, Yahweh is the one that puts things in our lives, the good and the bad, and we have the choice in our life to, go one way or the other. And it's up to us to make those decisions. So we can make bad decisions or good decisions, but like we lose people in our life, and that's a catalyst to what we can become. But we have to choose greatness, all the time. It's our choice, and that's what I think Yahweh's wanting us to do is, ultimately remember him and the covenant and go back to the ways that we're supposed to be.
Well said. Very well said. Going back to the choice, right? It brings us to the idea of the manna. When he talks about the manna, everyone in your lesson, which the manna is directly connected to the Shabbat. The Shabbat is the first time that the manna was even mentioned. That's when it was given to prepare them for the Shabbat. See? So what is the manna? The question is man hu. That word ma hu means what is it? They didn't understand. It was divine. The divine substance, and of course in the book of Psalms it describes it as being the grain that the Gavarim, or the angelic beings, the ones in the heavens, that they eat, right? So we don't understand it. We don't know what it is. But Yah is revealing to us what is it that they were eating. And he said he'd given to this. He said, your fathers didn't know what it was. They never had that experience. Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov never had that experience. Never. Only their descendants, right? Judah didn't have that experience per se. He didn't have manna. His descendants did. Laban didn't eat manna, his descendants did. So what is it that's about it that's different than everything else? Why is it so important that we would have it and they would never had it? Why is it so important that he takes a omer of it and puts it inside the gold box of the testimony and said, I want you to remember this? What's so important about it? You see, it's the things in which the Most High is saying that the impossibility, what appears to be impossible for your survival, is found in what Yahweh has done. He did it every single day for them, every day. You understand? But prior to that, he starved them. I want you to go hungry so I can bring about the change that I want to bring to you. Okay, the testing and the discipline. Sister Sharona mentioned the health, and feet were not swelling. Your value, your clothes were not wearing out. Yah is letting us know when you're in his presence, there is no disease. We're in his presence and we're in his favor. There is no diminishing of you. There is no diminishing of the widow and the stranger and the father. There is no diminishing. There is no texar, meaning you will not be diminished, like David had mentioned to Yahweh, his shepherd, and that he shall not want, meaning exar, I will not be diminished in any type of way. When Yahweh is guiding us and bringing us to the places that he wants to bring us to, believe me, even though you're hungry, your value has not diminished. You have not been diminished. Okay? And so the benefits of, as well as this inheritance of the promise for the ones who are the chosen seed. You're chosen. You're chosen to have these experiences. You're chosen to go through what you're going through in your life. And that bothers us because we want to be like everyone else, and you cannot be. The first one is is to think this is what you're thinking. The second one is that I found is don't think. You're going to say to yourself, you're going to think to yourself it's because of this. Now he's telling you don't think. One is you think, the other one's don't think. It is to reward my righteousness that Yahweh has brought me to take possession of this land. No, it's because it's a kev. These nations have been so wicked that Yahweh is driving them out ahead of you. It's not because of your zidki. It's not your righteousness, my righteousness. What we need to understand is what righteousness truly is. And what righteousness is, everyone, is the pursuit of that which is right. And we've been given a blueprint from Yah to tell us what is right. Okay? Here in Tehillim 112, it says, how happy is anyone who fears Yahweh. Who greatly delights in his commandments, his mitzvah, who his descendants will be powerful on earth. A blessed generation of upright people, wealth and riches are in his house, and his righteousness stands forever. So the question is has this happened yet for us? Why isn't this realized? It hasn't been realized because we haven't arrived there yet. But do you not supposed to walk and do what you're supposed to do? Are you not supposed to be pursuing that which is right? And of course, there's different levels, and I want to be clear about this. It said Noah was righteous. It said Abraham was righteous. It says that Job was righteous. He was a righteous man. Okay? Their righteousness, but you said that Job had a problem. Most High had a problem with Job, but he was a righteous man, right? So, and it says Yah's righteous. Is our righteousness the same as Yah's righteousness? No, there's two different levels. Is Yah set apartness like our set apartness? Is Kodosh the same as us as being Kodashim? No, there's levels. Okay? Not that you and I should not pursue which is right. He's saying, I'll give you the blueprint. I'll tell you what's going to help you understand how to benefit from your pursuit. As a result of you pursuing Yahweh in his ways, all these different things are going to happen for you. You're going to be a happy person. The question I asked myself this week is, do I want to be happy? Do I ultimately want to be happy? Because right now I'm okay. I'm happy sometimes, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm depressed, everyone. Sometimes I feel, I feel down. Sometimes I feel lonely. Sometimes I feel, dishonored. Sometimes I feel like my value has been diminished. Sometimes I don't feel well. My body hurts. My back hurts. My spine hurts. My knees hurt. You understand? Sometimes I feel that way, but to be happy means that I know that I'm pursuing something. I'm looking forward to a day where I can always feel happy. And happiness is where the wealth is. The word happy means I share, and I share means to be wealthy, right? So wealth is not found only in what you would say the material possessions, but the Most High said clearly that it's not these things. It's not the silver and gold. He said those things can increase. You can live in big houses and everything, but don't forget me. Our happiness is not going to be found in anyone or anything except for the Most High. And that's being in a right relationship with Him. There's no way that I'm feeling happy right now and we're in exile. Not this happiness, but I'm in pursuit of being happy. I'm in pursuit of being righteous. I'm in pursuit of being a Yasharim, like I told you. When it talks about being blessed, it said after you go into the land and you eat and you're full and you've been satisfied, then you bless Yahweh, right? We've taken that and said, okay, after we finish eating our food here, we'll bless Yahweh. I got some bad news. You can't bless Yahweh for the food that you got from here. The food is contaminated. Keep everything in context. When he talks about the food, he's talking about the food that came from the land that he promised you. When you eat of that land, you're eating from that substance. You're taking baskets of that to the Most High to give to the Leviim, to give to the fatherless and the widow and the poor and the stranger. Then you should be able to bless Yahweh. When your stomach is full of the ta'ana, the figs and the pomegranates, and you can eat as much as you want to without it going rotten, then you sit there, then that's when you bless Yahweh. We're talking about we're blessed. No, you can thank Yahweh for your food. You can thank him for his sustaining us. You can thank him for his mercy. But to bless him, you can't do that right now. You can't. You and I can't. There's no priest who can properly bring the praises before the Most High and bless his name. I'm sorry, it's not there. And you say, well, where's that at? You're kind of putting distance between us. Now, you told us that we're not blessed. And then now you're telling us that we shouldn't bless the Most High. I'm telling you, according to what's written in the Elohim that you and I serve, right? That the way that he's supposed to be blessed is from the area, from the land, from the substance that you have received out of that promise. Is when you eat of that fruit that's been promised to your fathers in that land. When you get there, that's when you're going to bless Yahweh. Right now, where you're at, you can be thankful. But don't get it twisted. Okay? The benefits of being a Zadakim is this. You're going to have an extended life. That's what it is. He's going to extend your life. Your life is going to be a long life. Abraham, he lived to 187 years old. Okay? You're going to grow and develop as a nation. Your family line is going to continue. You're going to be able to have admission into the land because those who are not righteous are not going into the land. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they're related to. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what their level of education is. If they're not Zedekim and they have not been in the pursuit of that which is right, according to what Yahweh said, they're not going into the land. Participation is going to happen in the city that Yah has chosen, which is called Yerushalayim, which is the city of unity and friendship. That's what Yerushalayim means. It means to be unified and have relationships, of friendships. That's where people go for the festivals and all the different areas where they come together and have they set apart what they call mikras, assemblies and appointed times. You'll have inheritance rights forever because your righteousness is going to stand forever. And also, too, by the way, when you're Zedekim, found in the book of Malachi, chapter number 3, verse number 16, it talks that your name is going to be inscribed in a book of remembrance. Your name is not going to be removed and blotted out of the book of life and out of the book of remembrance. And your name will be mentioned again under the heavens. versus it being completely wiped out and never to be mentioned again. And all notable acts will be memorialized. Every good deed and act that you will have performed on behalf of the Most High will be written and documented. Kika, it sounds like you're talking like we're in a kingdom. You are absolutely in a kingdom. And the good things that you have done will be memorialized. You can see this with Ezra. You can see this in the book of Nehemiah. You can see this in the book of Daniel. You can see it all over the place. You can see it in the book of Kings. You can see it in the prophets. You can see individuals who have done those good things that they are memorialized. Most High said that because you've done this, your family will always stand before me. Because you've done this, I'm going to give you a berith of everlasting, shall have the priesthood forever. Oh, because you've done this. Oh, because you thought upon my name. Oh, because you feared me. Oh, I'm going to save you. You see? So you will be memorialized if you're a Zedek king. You see? Your righteousness stands forever. I do want you to know that eventually, if you make it, if you has subscribed to being a Zedek king, and you decided to fear the Most High, and you decided to walk in his ways, you decided to love him and to trust him and to obey him and to listen to his voice, then you will have a testimony. And you're going to testify to the coastlands. And what you're going to say is, listen to me. Yes, Kel.
I'm just looking at this picture you put up here and remembering what you said earlier too, and tying this together. How do you think that we get ourselves to be like a childlike mind again? Like after we've been through the world and we've learned things, we try to strip things, and I think kind of like that's what we've kind of done. That's why we're all here. But and I remember, I guess that all these thoughts are put into our head by Yahweh himself, right? Through our experiences. So if someone doesn't reach this conclusion that we have, is it because that they have just chosen not to, choose the right path because they've been given the opportunity at some point, right? They've heard it from us or they've heard it online or from someone. So to become like a child again is like almost like I think it's like a personal choice, or like just the choices that you make to be able to have that type of mind again, to evaluate what you've learned and reestablish what is right or what's wrong.
Good thought. The only the righteous. Okay, so here's what the Most High, he says, if pity was shown to the wicked, he still would not understand the righteousness of Yahweh. He would still not understand it. Okay. Dawid said that I've become quiet and I've become calm and he's talking about his soul. I've calmed my soul. My soul has become calm to listen, right, to the Most High. That soul has been designated to do that. Okay. So is the Most High controlling us? Is he's making these decisions for us? Well, let's think about it. What did he tell Jeremiah? Somebody tell me. What's the first thing that he told Jeremiah?
Before I framed thee in the womb, I knew you, and I did to the nation.
So he formed him to bring his word to the nations. Did Jeremiah ask for that? Actually, he denied and said, no, I don't want to do that. He said, I'm only a child. And the Most High said, no, don't say that you're only a child. You're going to do what I said you're going to do. So going back to the idea of being chosen. Okay. This is being chosen. Not everybody's going to be able to do this. Not everyone is chosen. And that's what bothers people. Sister Zanya Koti has said, this is what brings humility to us. That humbles us down based on what we've been hearing in the testimony from each other. Should humble us to make us understand that I chose you to be this. The Most High is not choosing wicked people. He wouldn't even show you. He said, if I showed them mercy, he still wouldn't know. The Most High doesn't love everyone. The Most High doesn't choose everyone. Go ahead, Mashallah.
Sometimes certain people mistake the showing of mercy as weakness.
Expound.
Well, for a lot of people that, and myself included, right? Look, speaking from my point of view, my opinions, there's been times in my young age where the Most High has shown His mercy, and through the lack of my wisdom, I would think that He's weak,
Mm.
So I could get away with something else and something else, and I could get away with pretty much anything, right? If
Mm.
I'm chosen, if I'm a part of the people,
Mm.
and so I guess to the unwise, the unlearned, the showing of merciness, they mistake it for weakness, right?
Mhm. That's a great point, because in the book of Deuteronomy, everyone, chapter number 29, the Most High said there's individuals who are in the crowd that were hearing this message and said in their own heart, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. Even though I heard what I just heard, I'm going to still keep living and doing what I want to do in spite of what I just heard. I mean, I'm going to still do what I want to do, right? Because I'm part of the group. So if I'm part of the group, then obviously I'm part of the group and nothing's going to happen to me. And he's saying that's not true. Yah knows that he says there's wicked people among my people. There's wicked people that are proclaiming his laws. There's wicked people among Yah's people. This is the reason why it's not our decision. Because the wicked would choose to go into the land. They would choose that. They would choose at the last moment when he judges everyone, they would choose not to be swallowed up in the earth, or they would choose not to be set on fire. They would choose that. Then that's when they would choose righteousness. Yes, Kel.
Are the people, could we say that make an argument that the people that are chosen are the remnant that's going to be left over?
Absolutely. They're the ones who the Most High knows. Remember, the Most High said, I know Caleb. He said, I know him. I know his heart. I know he was wholehearted. How did the Most High know that he was wholehearted with him? See, we're thinking that everyone is, they're making all these choices. They're making all these decisions, but outside of the Most High's knowledge. And that's not true. That is not true. The Most High knows that if he says, I judge everyone according to the manner of life and their conduct. Yah knows. He says, I'm the one who search out the heart. So there could be a group of people right here on Zoom right now, and we're all saying we're dedicated and we love the Most High. And we want to give ourselves that assurance that we're going to be okay, like everyone that's in the group. I'm part of it. I show up. Most High might not be satisfied with Akika. He might not like something about me particularly. And that bothers people, because it's like, well, why? You seem like a nice guy. Why would he not accept you? Well, who are you to make the choice? I mean, you go to the store and you go to the grocery store and you go to the vegetable area, and there's a whole bunch of vegetables there. And you could pick for whatever green onions you want. You could pick the red peppers you want, the bananas that you're looking for. You got a choice. You could pick whatever you want. When you go there, you pick what you want. It's what you want. And that's Yah's sovereignty. So out of all the nations, he chose Israel. They got a problem with that. Everyone has a problem with Yah's choice. See? But here, this is your testimony for those of us who make it. Okay? Coastlands, listen to me. Listen, you peoples far away. Yahweh called me from the womb, just like Jeremiah said. Before I was born, he spoke in my name. So Yah speaking my name before I even arrived here? He already knew me before he formed me in the womb? What is he saying? Yahweh says, this is what he's saying. Yahweh says, this is what Yaakov is saying. Yahweh says, he's shaping me in the womb to be his servant. That's the whole purpose why he's there, to be shaped. He's shaping him. He's returning Yaakov to himself and gathering Yisrael back to himself, so that I will be honored in the sight of Yahweh My power, my Koki having become my Koki. Yah has become my strength. See? Yes, Michelle.
So back to that verse in Jeremiah, before he formed us, he knew us before he formed us in the womb. Is it safe to say that we were in his presence in some shape of some form of some sort? Because to know someone, you have to be present in that
I like to
before
say,
that person.
I like to answer that by saying you were in his mind,
Okay.
not that you were in his presence. You were in his mind. He already thought about you. Yes, Kel.
Yeah, so this kind of made me think when you started reading this and saying that he's shaping me in the womb to be his servant. So he has a covenant with Israel, and he has a covenant also with the earth, with the stars, with all the things that he created. Those other things that he created, he did not give the ability like to choose a choice, like a free will, like he gave to humans. And it kind of like it's like almost like I think it's like a challenge to the Most High because he gave us that and it gives him the glory because he can show how powerful he is by bringing his people back into the covenant. But it just kind of makes me think that um the way that the earth was created actually, because I kind of was like looking into this earlier, like the in Genesis when he talks about he created the stars and they created the earth after that. The stars were actually like when they create a supernova, they pretty much explode, and that creates a catalyst of the Earth being formed, and then the idea of him creating the whole universe and how it's all connected. Everyone is supposed to follow the covenant, like his creation is supposed to follow the covenant,
Okay.
and Israel not following the covenant and breaking that covenant, it's kind of putting like stalling him from reaching his final, I guess, fulfillment of what
Hey,
the
boy.
universe is
Hey,
supposed
listen,
to be.
you're getting too close. You're getting too close. You're getting too close. What Kel is talking about, everyone, is what this lesson is going to end with about the master's plan. So again, to show you, you're asking this question at the time in which this is in the presentation. So is that an accident? No, it's not an accident. You were actually supposed to say what you just said because that's in this presentation, and I'll show it to you in just a moment. Sister Pam. Culty Pam?
I'm sorry, I was having problems with my buttons here. Um, Regarding that scripture, Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, was that specific to Jeremiah? If not, how can we tell that that applies to the rest of us?
We know that it applies to us, to rest of us, because we just read a scripture. We just read the text where Jacob or Israel is giving testimony.
Okay.
Like, for example, when you look at this testimony that he just gave, he says, coastlands, listen to me, you peoples far away, Yahweh called me from the womb. This is in the book of Yashayahu. This is Isaiah talking on behalf of the children of Israel. Because he says he has spoken my name. Before I was born, he spoke my name.
Right, spoke his
Verbatim,
name.
almost verbatim what was spoken to Jeremiah.
Okay. Yeah, that word was spoken to Jeremiah, agreed. But in the discussion that followed just now, it's as though some people are taking that to mean that we can be included in that. And in other words, put our name in the space of Jeremiah.
Oh no, this verse right here helps us to let us know that just like he called him to be a servant, to him to have a special responsibility to go to the nations and tell them what he said. The Most High is now telling us that when the time comes, your testimony is going to be this. This is what Jacob or Israel is going to say to the nations. So if you read chapter number 49, it says, coastlands, listen to me. This is Jacob talking. This is not the Most High talking. This is this is Israel saying, listen to me. Listen, you peoples far away. Yahweh called me from the womb. Before I was born, he spoke in my name. And then tell us what it is that the Most High is going to do for him. or literally us. So he says now Yahweh says he's shaping me.
Okay. Thank
Right?
you.
Yes, absolutely. So what he's saying is he's saying he's shaping me. Now I get your point, like everyone can say that I'm a prophet. No, that's not true.
Mhm.
But Jeremiah was a servant to Yah, and he had him to have a certain duty and responsibility to go to the nations and to the, Judah and speak to Israel about some things. But here in the future to come, which Kel was speaking about just a few moments ago, I told him you're getting too close because the duty of Jacob or Israel is to follow through with what the Most High wants, and the Most High is going to bring about that, Kel, by these three stages. So number one, the Most High is shaping me. In the English, I changed the word. It said he formed, past tense. He's formed. That is incorrect. Meaning he's already done with me. No, he's not. This right here is an infinitive participle, meaning that right now he's doing it right now as I speak. So the womb that we're talking about is not the womb of a woman in a sense, it's the womb of the earth. So the Most High hasn't given birth to us as of yet. We're not fully birthed. We're not fully done yet. Okay. So he's shaping us. So everything that's happened in our lives, like the exiles, the slavery, um, being destroyed, being conquered, wilderness, tabernacles, temples, kings, princes, queen, all that, everything that's ever happened to us is Yah's using all these different things to shape us, shaping us as a people. You understand? So he's using everything that has ever happened to us to shape our lives so we can become what he wants us to become, which is ultimately to become his servant.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's the first part. He also talks about returning. So this is Yahweh's intent. And there's three stages in which this is going to happen. Okay. And this is when a person will become Yahweh's servant. That's where you have this word Avdi right here. One of our words for that child. Remember, I told you that I'm going to become my servant, Avdi, my servant. So Yah is saying you're going to be my servant, but you becoming Yahweh's servant is going to happen in three stages. Okay. It happens in these three stages right here. If you read chapter number 49 of Isaiah, it tells you that this in particular servant has been hidden and concealed like a sword and like an arrow. They have been hidden. They're concealed. No one knows what they're going to do. They have not been shown to the world. Not just to the nations around them, to the whole entire world. Okay? And the purpose of this is once he's hidden them and he's concealed them, the reason why they're hidden and concealed is so that he can continue shaping them and forming them. So when they do finish, when he does finish the work that he's doing on this nation of people, they will become his servant. Right now, they were not able to serve the Most High properly. Okay, so we had the Levites who were serving Yah in the tabernacle, but that wasn't just Yah's whole entire intent. It's not his whole purpose. It's not the master plan. The master plan, going back to what Kel was talking about, is that we've been hindering Yah's plan in a sense. Okay, and to bring about what Yah wants this has to happen. The shaping and the forming of us, ultimately to bring what? The glorification of Yah to the whole entire world. Okay. And that happens through these areas of shaping and then you returning. So this is what we're doing right now. We're in stage here 2. That's where we're at. We're in stage 2. Okay. The last part of our stage is the gathering. Once we gather back to the Most High, right? Then that's when we're going to be able to give glorification to the Most High because of the salvation that he's going to provide for us. So all the nations will be able to see it. He says he's going to gather Israel back to himself. That hasn't happened yet. And so that I will be honored in the sight of Yahweh as his servant. So right now, when we're talking about we're serving him, we're not. And he says that he my power having become my strength. Yahweh, my power having become my koki. So there's a difference between what we've done. And he said, all the work that I've done up to this point has been futile, has been useless. That's what he said in Isaiah chapter number 49. Because Yah's work is different than our work. Yah's power is different than our power. Our power is found in our material wealth. Our work that we've been doing has been the things that we wanted to do. When we fail to realize that our whole purpose of existing is to bring glory to Yah, to glorify Yahweh. And that is going to happen by Yah coming to gather us. And then once that happens, he will become my strength. Because all of our strength is gone. Yah says, I'm not going to come back until all their strength is gone. So we've been operating off of our own strength. We've been doing everything according to our own power. He says, I got to break them first. Yah has to break us. He has to bring us to naught. It has to happen to where you and I realize that everything that we've been doing up to this very day has been useless. Why? Because it hasn't been Yah's work. It hasn't been his work. It hasn't, we have not been an Avdi to Yahweh. We haven't, and so you ask, well, what is it the real work then, Akika? Because I thought it was we were his people, we were in the land, and we served him, we prayed, and we did some Moedim, and when we wanted to, we had kings and all this kind of stuff in land, and so surely we were serving the Most High. He said, "You never served me. You weren't fit for service." And the reason why we weren't fit is because we haven't been fully accepting of Yahweh's voice and what he said. Okay? So let me show you. Here is the evidence. The name of your Torah portion is Akev, which means because. And because means that it's the result of, meaning this is the result, meaning these are the consequences. There's different things, there's different results that can happen because of something else. And, agriculturally and Hebraically, it means to be on the heel, right? So here it is. Abraham is your example. The first time that the word Akev is ever used is with our father Abraham. It says all this because, that's Akev, Abraham heeded what I said and he did what I told him to do. He followed my mitzvot, my regulations, and my teachings, which is my Torah, the one that I gave him. He was 100% obedient. Yaakov, I love you, says Yahweh. You said, well, what does that have to do with anything? Because he was chosen. The word Yaakov, the word Akev, is found in his name. Right here. So they're written differently, Akev and Akov. Okay? But they're all written out with the same letters. An Ayin, Kof, and a Bet. The only reason why it is Yaakov is because he just put a Yod right here to make a Yaakov. Akev, right here, same word. It's just missing the Yod. That's all it is. Okay? It has a different pronunciation. Akev. Same root, but Yaakov. Okay? So everything happens because, okay, of Yaakov. Okay? The reason why our father did what he did, okay, and he heeded the voice of Yahweh, is because it's because of Yaakov. Abraham did not know about Yaakov. As a result of, because what Abraham did, Yaakov benefits. As a result of what Yaakov did, his descendants benefits. There's benefits. You understand? Obedience. Yes, Kel.
I just wanted to ask you, would you agree that the covenant that was made at Mount Sinai was it was a continuation of the covenant that was made with Abraham, correct?
No, it's not a continuation. What it is written in the books of covenants that the Most High has made. It's in the same family. It's just from a different part of the family, right? So Abraham, he made a promise to give him the land, right? And he did that because he listened to what he had said, meaning it wasn't just, you know, go down to Egypt. It was lek lekah, leave your family and go to where I told you. Then he instructed him, go here. He did what he said. He says, send him away. He did that. He said, go into your wife and do this. And he did that. You see? So all the things that he did is the result. Mashal, yes.
Well, can I,
So,
can,
I'll go ahead.
just
Sorry.
go ahead, Kel.
I was just gonna expand upon it because what I was meaning it was like a continuation from the Abrahamic covenant was that he promised Abraham that he was going to give him descendants, land and earth that will be blessed through him. So that was fulfilled kind of when he was, Israel blessed his sons and they were going to get the land, which they ultimately did. That was a continuation of what he told Abraham.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
but the covenant, hold on, Mashal, the covenant that he made with us, Moshe had told us, he says, this covenant he's making with you today is not what he made with your ancestors. This is not the same. That's in Deuteronomy chapter number 5. The difference is that the Most High says, when you get into this land, these are the things that you need to do. You need to do, the kukai. You need to do my mishpat, which is my decrees that have been decreed, that are on another level than any other thing that your fathers never heard about this. Just like your fathers never ate that manna, they never heard about this. Your fathers never got these mishpatim. Your fathers never heard Yahweh speaking to you out of the fire. The Most High has never took the words that he said to them and put it in a gold box and said, anybody who touches is going to be put to death. The Most High never called any of Abraham's or Isaac's or Jacob's sons to carry the Ark of the Covenant until he brought them out of the land of Mizraim. So this covenant it's not a piggyback, right? It's not a piggyback. It's not piggyback. It goes along with it, but it's separate. It's still part of the family, but it's separate. Okay. So you're right. It's in the family, but it
yeah.
is covenant. Go ahead, Michelle.
So we have to let's look at what these covenants are, right? What was the covenant that the Most High made with Abraham? It has a specific name, and if you don't know, I can tell you right now. It was the Brit Milah.
Is it?
That was the covenant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brit Milah, circumcision.
That is the covenant. All right. Now, that covenant was not that command or not command. I don't know if I should call it a command, but that was not given to us on Mount Sinai, because if it was so, it would have been written out in all, within the 10 words or within the Torah, right? However, we as a people, we keep that covenant that was made with Abraham alive by honoring, by actually performing the covenant, so in a sense, you can that covenant will last forever, just like the covenant that the Most High made with the children of Israel on Mount Sinai. Now, there are two separate covenants. They're not the same covenant.
I would agree
If
with
that
both
makes
of you.
sense.
I agree with both of you that they're not the same covenant. They're two separate covenants. I just see it as the covenant made on Mount Sinai, and the Jacob's 12 sons, getting their blessings was a fulfillment of the covenant that he promised Abraham of having descendants, land, and they were going to be blessed through Abraham, which
Well,
was fulfilled through Jacob.
well, you can't say fulfilled, because when you fulfill something, that means that you no longer have to do it. And
No, you still have to do it, but they're fulfilling it by the 12 sons now taking those promises that he gave Abraham, and now it's dispersed between 12 tribes.
uh, uh, I guess I see what you're trying to say, but again, if you want, when we speak of the word fulfill, that means that you've done it, and there's no need for it to be done anymore. Now we keep the covenant because it is perpetual for us as a people, right? If that makes sense. So
I
I,
think
I,
more so he's talking about the promise, but the promise hasn't been fulfilled because all the nations of the earth are not yet blessed. That
Thank
was
you.
the promise to Abraham.
Yes, thank you. That's it. See, that's what I think you were getting at, Michelle, that it hasn't been fully fulfilled. Like, for example, when the nation of Israel went into the land, they went in, but they didn't get rid of all the occupants there. They never fully took the whole land for themselves. They allowed people to live, which they went against. They broke the covenant there. The Most High said, "Don't have any mercy." And they made relationships and covenants with those people. So they never fully took, the whole entire land for themselves. That's what people are forgetting. That's why they always had those problems. So if you read in the book of Joshua, they didn't go in and occupy all the land. They didn't take all the land. They couldn't push certain people out, right? But there's something greater. There's a bigger picture that I want us to see. Okay. The bigger picture is this, is that when you and I, if we don't do what Yah is saying, right? Right? Just like he told them, he says, look, you will perish just like the nations that Yah was causing to perish ahead of you. And it's because this is a result of you not listening to Yah's voice. There's a consequence, right? So there's times of us being obedient that we will get the results of because we did what he said. There's other times because of who you are, being who you are. The Most High says it's a guarantee 100% I love you. But it's just like I 100% love you and you were 100% obedient at one time, I want to let you know there's 100% of the consequences is going to follow. So just like the nations ahead of you that he's causing to perish, because they had these idols and they did the things that were displeasing and are an abomination to the Most High, if you and I participate in anything that they have done, and you said, well, I wasn't there. Well, this is something that he wants all Israel to know. If you do anything that Yah considers to be an abomination that has been written down in the heavens as an abomination, and you participate in that, you will be destroyed. That's just 100% of the consequence of that. And if you know, he talked about how, you guys were with Baal Peor. I talked about that last week. I told you what happened to the people who did this. I told you what happened to the individuals who did that. I told you what happened after you had the golden calf. He was going to destroy you. I told you when you went and go into the land, he was going to, he was going to destroy you, right? But now he said, I went, he listened to me. Now he's letting you know, like, if you're doing what they're doing, if these descendants will not listen and heed the voice of Yahweh, you're going to get 100% of the consequence, which is to be destroyed. Okay. Why? Because Yah says, if you forget me, this is an admonition. If you forget Yahweh, your power, and you follow other gods and serve and worship them, I am warning you in advance today that you will certainly perish. So it's not Akika's words, it's what the Most High has said through Moshe. The idea of forgetting, I think Sister Koti Sharon brought us that we're forgetting. We've forgotten what he's done, right? Forgot about the water, forgot about the manna, forgot about everything. Why? Because they got in their influence, their arrogance, and started thinking to themselves, right? Highly of themselves and exalting themselves, not becoming quiet like a child and being willing to yield what the Most High wants. He says, if you forget, and that word right there is called shakak, and shakak means to ignore. Okay, goes back to our word ignorant, meaning that you're unaware. Okay, and this right here is something like you're putting something outside of your scope and your vision. You're not even looking for it. You forget it. You put it somewhere, and you don't even care to find it. Forgetting and finding are one and the same, right? So obviously, you're not looking and searching out what I'm telling you to do. You're going to forget what I'm telling you to do. You're going to ignore what I'm saying. This right here, everyone, has to do with not being taught Ignorance comes from the lack of knowledge. So the admonition is, if you forget to teach, that's the purpose of teaching. If you forget to teach that Yah is the power, and you forget to teach that someone, and you're saying that someone else is the power of Yah, forgetting Yahweh means that you're looking somewhere else. Forgetting Yahweh means that you're serving other Elohim. If you're not serving Yah, you're serving someone else. Well, Kika, I thought you told us that we're not serving Yah right now. I'm 100% correct. Yah is telling us that you are serving other gods. While I'm reading the Torah, you are in the lands of your enemies and you're serving their gods. You cannot serve Yahweh and serve your Elohims at the same time. Go back to what he said in Egypt. I have brought you out so you can serve me. While you're in captivity of another land, another God, under a whole nother calendar, whole nother people, whole nother teaching, you can't serve Yah. We haven't been brought there. Going back, let me go right here just to show you. The service of Yah, everyone, for us to be Yahweh's servant, we have to be gathered back to Yahweh. And then he would become our power. Yes, Akoti, or Elder Bill.
Geez, I didn't mean to raise our hand. Okay.
Go ahead, Sister Okoti.
No, I was saying my apologies. I didn't mean to raise our hand. I'm lowering it. Okay, my apologies.
It's okay. So in order for us to properly be Yahweh's servant, everyone, we no longer have any power. We're going to be relying upon his power. He doesn't want us to serve him in our power. So this is the process. You're hidden, you're concealed. And while you're hidden and concealed, he's shaping you and forming you. So the end result you'll be bringing glorification to Yahweh by being his servant when you are in the nations. You understand, when he brings you out, you could be something to them. And I told you the reason why this has happened is because Abraham listened to Yah. Because this is a result. Because I love Yaakov. Why? Because. Why does he love us? Because I chose you. And just like I chose you, you're the same ones that are going to get the consequences because you didn't listen. Your father Abraham listened, but the descendants are not listening. Okay? And if you forget Yahweh through ignorance, through not learning, then this is going to happen. You're going to serve other gods, which you and I right now are doing. And the master plan, now this is what I wanted to bring out. The master plan is this, but Zion says Yahweh has abandoned me. The master has forgotten me. The master has forgotten who? Me. Zion, right? Then he says this, which is talking about Adoni, my master, master of masters, like you read in your Torah portion. Here's what Yahweh, the Redeemer of Israel, his Kadosh one, says to the one despised, whom the nations detest, to the servant of tyrants. The servant of tyrants. When kings see you, they will stand up. Princes too will prostrate themselves. When they see you, why don't they see you right now? Because it goes back to what Yahweh said, that if I've hidden you, he said, Most High, he's hidden me. He's put me like an arrow in his quiver. He's put me like a sword in his sheath. He hasn't revealed me yet. When kings see you, they will stand up. Princes too will prostrate themselves, because Yahweh, who is faithful, the Kadosh one of Israel, has chosen you. Okay? Zion represents the city, but also represents the people. Is saying that, guess what? When they see this, they got to see this, the glorification of Yahweh. When Yahweh extends his arm and comes and gets us like he did in Mitzrayim. The master plan is this. Going back to what Kel had mentioned, the overall bigger plan, is a bigger plan in hand. It's not just us to go back to the land. The bigger plan is to make us a covenant of light. Yah said, I'm going to make you a covenant of light. I'm going to make you a covenant of or. And or means order. Not just light, order. It means I'm going to arrange things the way it's supposed to be. What do you mean arrangement? I'm going to restore, okay, the nations back to where they're supposed to go. Everyone is going to go back to their lands, their native lands. Everyone's going to go back to their native tongue. Everyone's going to go back to their culture. Everyone is going to go back where they need to go back. You're going to go back to your land and receive your inheritance that you're supposed to get. And the reason why the servant at this time, okay, in the future is going to say to the coastlands, hey, listen to me, is simply because he, which is Israel, is giving out a message to tell them that the Most High has set me apart. I've been hidden, and he's been shaping and forming me. And once he's done with this and he brings me back, Most High said, it's not enough that I should make you my servant. It's not enough that I should bring back to me. It's not enough. That's stage 2. It's not enough to you to be gathered back to me. That's not enough. I want to do more than that. I want to make you a covenant of light. So you hear people all the time talking about, well, Israel's responsibility for us is to be a light to the nations. And they think that when they're in the nations right now, that's when they're being the light. And that is 100% false. Because if you and I were the light to the nations, as it is today, the nations will be given back their lands and they'll be restored. The Guamanian people would not be having United States of America, military base. They would have their land. They'd have their island to themselves. Taiwan wouldn't have to be worried about China. See? It wouldn't happen. Right? Zelensky wouldn't be worried about what's his name. Okay? What the stuff that's going on in the Middle East right now, that wouldn't be going on. Everybody will be restored. So there's a lot of things that are at play right here. So who are the true children of Israel? Who are the people who are the covenant of light? Who's going to bring order back to the world? That order is going to happen through the children of Israel.
The remnant, right? I was just saying the remnant that's left over. Those are the people that are going to bring the light back.
Yes. It says in Psalms 119, verse number 130, that your words are a door that lets in light. So what we're going to be is we're going to be the dispensers of that light through the Torah, because the Torah is light. The Torah is what gives people the arrangement and it puts things in order. It's supposed to order our lives, right? So the restoration of the earth is going to happen, and that's the master's plan. The master's plan is to save Israel from all the different nations that they were at, right? And bring them back. And then the remnant who survives, our job is to pronounce this Torah to the whole entire world. In the book of Isaiah, it tells us, and I forgot what chapter, I think it's in chapter number 26, it says that we did not bring salvation to the world. We haven't fulfilled what Yah wants us to fulfill. Yah is giving us as a covenant of light to the nations. We're not that covenant of light right now. That's in the future. And you only can do that when you're in service to the Most High. Right now, we're not in service to the Most High. Right now, we're serving the gods that he sent us to the nations to serve their gods. Right now, we're in service to the gods of the wood and stone. Akika, you keep saying that we're serving these gods. Yes, you are. You're in exile. You're serving these gods whether you want to or not, whether you think so or not. If you weren't serving, then why is the Most High said, I got to come and bring you out so you can serve me? Why is it that it was told to us that your testimony is going to be to the coastlands for them to listen to you? Yahweh called me from the womb. I was born. He spoke in my name to be what? To be his servant. That's why he called me from the womb, to be his servant. But that's only going to happen after he finished shaping us. It's not that I am his servant right now. He's causing me to be his servant. And that's going to happen through a returning of us back to the Most High. And then finally, when he gathers us, then we'll be able to serve the Most High. Then we'll become a covenant of light for the nations. Because we're not operating in our own strength, but Yah has become our Koki. Does this make sense? Does anyone have any questions about this? Because I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, we're supposed to be given a light to the nations. Not right now. You're not bringing any organization to the nations right now. You're not bringing any order to the nations right now. That means we don't understand the master's plan. We've had our own plans. He said, you go about to make your own plans. What about my plan? Yah's plan is to bring us back and to help us understand that I haven't forgotten you. I have not forgotten what I said I was going to do with you. Remember to say, he says this, I'm talking to the one who's despised. So the question is, who's despised? Who's the one that's despised? Who is the servant of tyrants? Who is the one that the nations hate and detest? Who? It's Israel.
Yeah.
It's us. It is us. Yah is going to be faithful to us, and he's going to prove to us that I'm the one who chose you. I chose you to be my servant. Yes. Go ahead.
When you say that, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I think your hand was raised before me. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, Toda. I also get this king thing. I mean, from the Tower of Babel on, these nations also really hate their creator. They hate Yahweh. I mean, they really do.
They hate
And they think that they can overcome him. And I mean, and it's the craziest notion in the world, but I mean, but it's something that they really believed and they have believed. It's a belief that's passed on to them by their ancestors, you know?
Yes.
Yes, it really is. And it's baffling because it's like, now why do you think that you can beat the creator of all? Because even they have to function within the paradigms that he sets. Even they do.
Yeah. Well, it's because of what he remember when he went into Egypt, he said, I'm going here and I'm going to destroy all their gods. Okay?
Yes, right.
So the bigger picture, everyone, is the Most High scattered Israel to all these different places. So when he comes, he's going to destroy all of their gods. The reason why he's going to do that is because he's going to show us that he's our Elohim. Show them that their gods are no gods at all. He's going to show them through us that look who survived. Look who did I come and get. He's going to show them who he chose to be his people. So your role, you have a bigger role than what you've been told. You understand? You have a bigger role if you've been told. You haven't been told this. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. That's the bigger deal. Kale, go ahead.
I just wanted to expound upon your comment. You said that the nations, you were asking us who do the nations despise, and then your answer was Israel. I would agree to a certain extent. I'm just thinking that the nations are not really aware of Israel because Israel has been forgotten over time. So when we say that they despise us and they don't want us to be lifted and be, the light of the universe, I think that day is coming, but I think right now, like the nations are asleep to this, don't you think? Like they're just not aware of the prophecy or the way that things are supposed to happen on Earth.
No, I wouldn't say that they're not aware, because that wouldn't be true, because the Most High said that they all went into a confederate. They all made an agreement to destroy Israel. So this has been their plan from the beginning, and that's in Psalms 82 or 83, I believe, where he says they come together to make a confederate and made a covenant together to erase Israel off the face of the earth. They don't want Israel, and then they know if they get rid of Israel, they're getting rid of Yahweh's ways. They know what they're doing, right? But the
I
coast,
think
but the coastlands.
I think
Go ahead.
I think that they did at a certain point, like when there were the Greeks and the Roman Empire, but would you say like the United States, China, and Russia, like they're all aware of what Israel is trying to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's been a conspiracy to hide our identity, which a lot of people don't know, that the United States of America pays. And this was something that came out of a person out of Israel that said the United States of America sends billions of dollars to over there to the people in that land to keep them quiet. right? To keep them quiet. They're paying them. It's like they're blackmailing them because they know. Okay, so for example, it's like saying that they don't know what they have done. They don't know who's in their care. They don't know who they took. They don't know what the scripture says. They're ignorant to the fact of who the children of Israel are. They're ignorant to the fact that the children of Israel have been spread. They're ignorant to the fact of Isaiah chapter number 5 that says that come up to the God of Jacob. They're saying that they don't know the Bible. That's saying that they don't have any copies and that they don't know nothing. No, these people know. What it's talking about is when it says here that the kings, when they see you, they shall stand up, and the princes will prostrate themselves because of Yahweh is faithful. It's saying because they are going to see something, right, that they didn't believe that these are the people. They're all going to be in shock. Jeremiah chapter 16 says that they're going to say our ancestors inherit nothing but lies. But that's talking about the nations. Once they figure it out, like, wait a minute, we knew that this would happen, but we didn't know that it was going to be these people. We didn't know that these are the people. We knew it was going to happen, but we've been told that these people over here are the people. So it's going to be, it's going to be something else. But there is a conspiracy against the real, true Israel. It's been a conspiracy against us. And that cannot be discounted. They know
that has to be the largest conspiracy and ever. Like they're hiding that fact that they're trying to really keep us down.
Yeah, it is. It's the biggest conspiracy, the biggest lie has ever been told. And that's why the whole world's going to go into shock and they're going to awe because guess what? We've been lied to. And guess what? There are people that are waking up and saying, hey, listen, these people that are written in this book are these people. These are the so-called African Americans. These are these people. These are the people that they can identify with. That's what it is. Not to say that we haven't been scattered all over the place. We know 100% certainty, okay, that we can look at our history and look at our heritage and be like, okay, what other nation of people have gone and experienced the things that we've experienced? Some people say, yeah, other nations have gone through slavery. So what's the difference there? They haven't been through the slavery we've been through. They haven't lost their identity, haven't lost their name, they haven't lost their culture, they haven't lost any of those things. Nothing. But there's other testimonies from other people that in other parts of the world, they will come out and tell you that you guys are the people. They say it all the time. You guys are the people. You just don't know who you are. You see? So there's a greater plan that's at play. There's a bigger picture that we should all understand. There's a bigger plan for us. It's not just to go back to our land. It's the responsibility of us bringing order to chaos. Because that's what light was. First time light was ever mentioned is when the Most High said, let there be light. And what he's talking about is let there be order. So at that time, there was nothing but chaos. And if you can look in the world right now, there's nothing but chaos. Israel is supposed to be the people to take light of the Torah and to arrange things and put things in their proper place. That's why I talked about restoring back to the lands that people lost and everything. So that's what it is. Here's your Torah for next week. Here's your meditation to Halim and Psalms. There's your Haftarah. Write it down. Also, too, there's a Hebrew memory phrase that I want you to remember. I want you to write that down. It's called Kagamul. Kagamul. Alai Nafshi. It means like a weaned child is my soul. Kagamul. Alai Nafshi. Literally, what it's talking about is that my soul is now willing to be ripe and to come to maturity and to be able to yield what you're looking for. Alai means to go up. I'm looking to elevate my soul. I'm ready to do the work. That's what this means. Kagomula Alai Nafshi. I want you to meditate on that. Like a weaned child is my soul. I'm ready to settle down, quiet down, and I need to bring forth whatever it is I need to bring forth. Any questions before we get into our cahoots?
Is that first Samuel or second, please?
Oh, first, I apologize. First, Shemuel, chapter number 20, verse number 18, and Shemuel, chapter number 20, verse 42. Just those two verses by themselves. And Yeshayahu, chapter 54, which is Isaiah 54, 11 through 55 and 5. The word Davarim is Deuteronomy, and the word Tehillim is Psalms. Psalms 121 and 150. Yes.
I just wanted to say,
Lasagna?
yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the teaching, Toda Yah for the teaching. I think both Elder Bill and I, we're always better for coming and hearing your Sabbath classes. So Toda.
Cain,
Oh, praise
Cain,
God.
Cain,
Greatly
Cain.
Cain. There you go. To be established. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kika, I wanted to ask a question, but I want to do it at the right time. So if we, it doesn't have to do anything with the lesson today, but with something that you said from the lesson last week. So yeah, I can hold it off until after the cahoots if you'd like.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Imiya. Hallelujah. Imiya?
Hallelujah. Yeah. So I just want to ask quickly, if you could elaborate a bit on the difference between blessing and thanking the Creator.
Oh,
I think I have an understanding, but I just want to be sure is what I'm thinking. And thank you for the message today, by the way. Appreciate it.
oh, yes, absolutely. Okay, everyone, this is a great question. She wants me to elaborate on it. And I said, you can't bless Yahweh, right? So when Yah says that you're going to be blessed from among all the nations of the people, this is found in your Torah portion. And he says, once you go into the land and you eat of the food that's there, right? You're going to, after you do that and you're satisfied, then you're going to bless me, right? You're going to bless the Most High. What we're talking about here is that the only thing, blessing in Hebrew means to bend the knee and to come and to bring something, right? To bring a gift, right? That's what it's talking about. So agriculturally, what it's talking about is to bend the knee to the Most High about that which He's given you. Okay. So by sheer virtue of us not being in our land, by you to bless Yahweh, you're blessing Him for something that has been afflicted. Like He says, when you eat it, you're going to eat the bread of affliction. This is what He told Ezekiel, that when I scatter you to the nations, you're going to eat defiled bread. So all the food that we're eating at this place that we live in right now is defiled. And you would surely wouldn't bring anything before the Most High. And okay, Barak or blessing means to bend the knee with a gift in your hand. Okay. So what is it that we have that we can bring to the Most High while we're in our exile? Well, it's one thing that we did find out in the book of Psalms, chapter number 50. It talks about you can give Yahweh thanks. Thanks means that you can raise your hands up to the Most High and say, thank you for, your sustenance that you've given me. I praise you for providing for me. But the blessed Yahweh is different. It's a different mindset. It's not what we've been taught from a religious standpoint. People say, I'm blessed, or, may God bless you and all this kind of stuff. That's not, it's been taken completely out of its context. So when you go back and you read through your Torah portion and look at the word blessed, look at how it's being used and where it's being used at. Okay. Is being used in context of the land, is being used in context of what He has personally given you from your inheritance that he swore to your fathers. If you're not receiving what's given to your fathers, then you're not fulfilling the blessing that you're supposed to bring to the Most High. Because out of those seven in particular fruits that He talks about, the fig, the pomegranate, the wheat, the wheat and the barley, the honey and the davash, and all these things, the dates and the grapes, if you're not bringing that to Him, then there's no blessing attached to it. So anything that was outside of the land, okay, when He said the land that I'm giving you, Yah looks and seeks the good of that land. The land that's there is the land that He looks at from one end of the year to the end of the year. So Yah's not doing that in the lands that we're around here. Yes, He gives it water, but it's not the waters from the Shamayim that's been designated by the Most High for His people. You see? So we don't want to mix that which is being given to us by the Most High with the things that we're receiving from strangers in the lands that we're in, that the food has been defiled. Your food now has been defiled. Your fruits and vegetables, they don't really have any life in them. The animals are contaminated. The soil has been contaminated. There's been no Shabbat for the land, so the land is defiled. The land is defiled by the murder that's happened and the shedding of blood over here. The land has been defiled. Men are going in and divorcing their wives and going back to the same woman and laying with them after some other man lay with them. This land is completely defiled. So nothing that has been defiled will ever be received by the Most High. See, so we don't want to offer any blessing to the Most High. We can offer him thanks for being merciful and, allowing us to live. But other than that, you're not going to bless the Most High, not in this land. You're going to bless him when you get back to the land. You're going to bless him when you're back in your inheritance. You're going to bless him when you have a basket of what he gave you. You're going to bless him for the seasons of the early rain and the latter rain. You're going to bless him for the harvest that you receive from the land that he promised to your fathers, because you would be fulfilling what has been given to your ancestors. You would be saying to the Most High, I'm giving you thanks and I'm blessing you for what you've given to my fathers that you gave to me. Hallelujah. Two different
Yeah.
words.
Hallelujah. Thank
One
you.
is Barak and one is Todah. Todah, you can give Yah Todah, but don't bless nothing here. His name is too precious, and you will not want to conflate what the nations are giving versus what he will give. That's what we're doing is we're making a difference between what he's given and what they're giving. We're making a difference between what he has said versus what they have said. And that means in all of our lives, in every area. Hallelujah. All praise be given to Yahweh. I thank you. And also, too, I want to say I appreciate everyone for attending today. Those who are live by stream, I want to thank you as well. I don't want to just cut you off and not say goodbye to you. Hopefully you enjoyed the teaching today. Those of you who are on the class, I ask that you stay so you can participate in what Rivqua has put together, which is just 10 questions to kind of review your Torah portion.